All right, we're gonna get started in a little bit, guys. Give me 1 second. Second. Gotta kick my intro music in. Drop. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Gavin Reshaw Presents here on my channel, Cuties 706. We're also on Facebook. We're also on my other YouTube channel, self-titled Gavin Reshaw. Wherever you are, wherever you are, hope you all are blessed and safe. And get this in and get this party started in a little bit. I don't think we're gonna be too long, probably about an hour or so. But I gotta clear the air with a lot of stuff on because we have different things that are taking place now. With the news, with the just a lot of stuff that's just it's 2020. It's just this has been that year. So we're gonna get into it in a little bit, and give me 1 second. So you guys put your name in the chat box. Tell me what you're doing tonight. I know you guys are probably getting ready to go to work. Some of you are listening, and you're probably at work right now. But we're gonna go ahead and get started. So 1 second. So yeah, it's a little intro music I had created. So, what's up, everybody? Welcome again to another edition of Gavin Shaw Presents here. Um, so, I had no particular order on topics of which I was going to go into. Obviously, if you out, and let's just see. See if I got any comments. Anybody that's watching the channel right now. You guys that are on Facebook, we had some people that are commenting and so forth. Let's see who's viewing this right now. Do you have any comments? Let's see. Say something in the chat box if you're there. Oh, excuse me. You need to do that. All right. So, where do I begin with this? Man, we are at, this is Friday, first of all, so happy Friday. Um, we're getting ready for the weekend. Everybody gets to relax again. Man, 2020 is going by real fast. We got We're basically down to the last 2 weeks in August. So you guys think about that. Summer will be over with uh by next month or so in September. Is that usually when it ends? So say this we're already headed to fall now, man. I just can't it's 2020. You wish God could just do a mulligan and we could start over again. But unfortunately it doesn't happen that way. And it's just been insane thing after another with all of this death, with these coronavirus, whether you're talking about this tragedy after another, losing uh, famous celebrities like Kobe Bryant dying and so forth, man. I just can't think of it. But if you're breathing, you're achieving. So if you're here with me, it's the place to be too. So uh, where do I begin with this? Most of you all, okay, you guys have seen, obviously, this past week, they've had the Democratic National Convention. They had that convention where Joe Biden and Kamala Harris accepted the nomination for presidents and vice presidents. And of course, I call it, of course, people are excited. Most of the people on my timeline, the comments I've seen, they're excited because, you know, they want to rally behind Kamala Harris and Joe Biden because they see him as the last glimmer of hope. Um, Let me just tell you guys something about me. And I've was commenting, giving some thoughts on, you know, Kamala Harris and her speech. And I had a chance to listen to some of what Biden was saying, but of course, everything it was a typical. It was typical Democratic talk, typical politician talk. We as a people, and that's the title of one of our topics, we are too emotional at times to handle a political discussion. Let me say that. And I'm saying that because when I offer a critical view of Kamala Harris or somebody says something critical of Joe Biden, whoever, I hit a nerve with a lot of these Negroes who didn't like or took exception to my critique. Let me say something to you guys. First and foremost, aside from being an attorney, I graduated Southern undergrad with a major in political science. So when I see things, when I see stuff that demonstrates from it from both a standpoint of I have an education of my background, especially from my education and what I and my knowledge in that area of what I have seen. And some of us are too emotional when it comes to having a discussion. And I had people that were upset with me about not, you disrespecting Kamala Harris or shut the fuck up. Okay, this is politics. If you want to be a politician, when you come and you speak and you give speeches, whether you're talking about different topics, everything is fair game. Your personal life, sad as it is to say, when someone runs for office, their personal life is public now. Everything that you do, from who you marry, who you sleep with, who your kids are, that's all part of it because that's a reflection of you. That's a reflection of who we're going to elect in this. That's a reflection for those who of you, and also of who we're going to put in this, in those cabinets, in those positions. And it happens every time. So every year, and people have a right to question some things. So I had noticed when I was watching the debates. I noticed, and I didn't really have there's another topic we're going to get into when I say democratic desperation, about how desperate they are basically to try to get the black vote. But I guess I can tie all of that in. But we look at things, especially as black people, from an emotional standpoint when we go and vote. And I've said this time and time again. Every year, it boils down to two reasons why we're voting. We either want to make history or we don't like the other person. We do it, or i.e., we do it out of fear. And no other ethnic group, no other, I, I'm not social group either. Hell, the LGBTQ doesn't do that either. They vote on what is in their best interest. Everybody votes on basically what is in their financial interest when they go to the polls. We unfortunately don't do that in the black community. We do things out of fear and history, as I've stated earlier. And that is a mindset that we have got to break out of. I understand that many people want to see the first female president or vice president. They're excited about her, being capable. Fuck. What does that have? How does that prove that you can handle a job like that? That's good for browning points. Yeah, you're an AKA. Yeah, you're an alpha. So, Hubert Humphrey was an alpha. Hubert Humphrey was honorary member of the Alphas as vice president of the United States under Lyndon B. Johnson. There are a lot of people, whites, who, join sororities and so forth, black sororities. And that's great. I don't have anything against it. Fine. But how does that prove you can handle a job like this? And I had people on my Facebook upset that I was critiquing her and her speech because I noticed one of the things when just listening to her, and yes, she can talk about what she wants, but I noticed when Senator Harris was speaking, I noticed that she didn't even mention her father during the speech, and I thought that was interesting. And a bunch of people had their had their panties twisted, I guess, or angry that I said that. You got to stop being so damn emotional about stuff. You act like that's you up there. Everybody can have an opinion about. Everybody's got an opinion these days because we have social media and Facebook. When you have your own platform, talk about what you want on your platform. But we got to stop being emotional when it comes to dealing with these issues, dealing with politics, and we got to start learning how to do business because that's what all voting is. It's about business. It's about doing what is in your financial interest. You know, if you read the article, let me pull that article up if I find it. This was on Yahoo News. I've shared this before and I'll share it again. 2020. Young black voters, this was entitled, Young Black Voters Aren't Enthusiastic About a Joe Biden Presidency. Now, what's up, Think Tank? How you doing, man? Oh, I forgot. Excuse me. I forgot to put this banner up so you guys can see it. You guys can donate to the channel if you want. Leave your comments and so forth. Uh, those are the Cash App and Google Pay options. Hold on one second. I'm trying to share this thing. It's hard when I'm doing it. So, yeah. So, this is an article that I had here. All right. There we go. Peregrine doesn't believe that Joe Biden is listening to what young black Americans want right now. This is from Yahoo News. This was in July of 2020. So, it says here, Green 34 lives in Amadea, California, and said he's still undecided on whether he will vote for Biden after supporting Senator Bernie Sanders in the Democratic primary. But he added if he was living in a swing state like Ohio, Michigan, or Pennsylvania, he would be voting for Biden. Now, I live in Louisiana. Louisiana has never been a swing state. Louisiana has never been a swing state. And, those that are upset at young people are frustrated with young people you know, because they're saying they won't vote. You got to remember something too. Even in the Senate and even in Congress, you have senators and uh, congressmen that will abstain from voting on a bill. It's not a formal vote. It's not a nay or yay, but it's a vote of no confidence. It's a vote of abstination. And, Jesse Ventura even said that on Larry King. I think it was Larry King or Pierce Morgan, where he even talked about that. How you wish you had options like that because it would be a vote of no confidence. The American people are frustrated with what's going on in their world today. And if you look at it, and I've had Brother Sean James on, shout out to him. If you're looking at it from a historical standpoint and a political and not an emotional standpoint, it is very hard, usually, for an incumbent president to lose the presidency at a time like this. Now, it has happened in the past. Obviously, Jimmy Carter lost to Ronald Reagan, and of course, George Herbert Walker Bush lost to Bill Clinton in 1992. But remember something, a couple of things about that. At that time, Jimmy Carter, the reason why, one of the big reasons why Carter lost was because boycotting that 1980 Olympics. Americans boycotted that. A lot of people didn't like that. And Reagan pounced on it. The other thing, too, was when you had George Herbert Walker Bush, the economy in the 90s, and if you go look it up, especially in 1992, younger people, of course, were feeling Bill Clinton obviously more than they were George Herbert Walker Bush. But the main reason was the economy was bad. And George Herbert Walker Bush actually had 12 years in office because when Reagan was president, he was Reagan's vice president for those 8 years. So it was time for a regime change. It was time for a regime change. And so if Biden is trying to win an election, he has to be, people talking about, I'm reading here, I think this is a time for Joe Biden to be explicitly clear on his stance, as said Stephanie Brown James, who led Obama for America's efforts to engage African American leaders in voting. Well, the only thing is that from what I see, we keep getting basically this pandering stuff. You know, getting on the Breakfast Club, talking about you don't vote for me, you ain't black. You know, getting on, seeing Kamala Harris dancing and doing the electric slide. You know, those are things that are not going to work young black voters in, and we have to, and you all need to realize, especially in that old Negro vanguard, aside, you can't. Two things you can't do. You can't shame young people into voting, and you can no longer pander to them about who's the best person to vote for because because people are not feeling that anymore. Those days are over. The days of symbolism is over with. Like I was talking with Nicole from Nicole's View, we talked about that in depth. Those days are over with. Young people are not feeling, that they need to vote out of fear and symbolism and substance. Those days have ended. You think just be realistic. What do white people go into a voting poll booth and say, well, I better go vote today since George Washington and John Quincy Adams fought for my Bill of Rights back in 1776? No, they don't do that. They're voting because what's in their best interest. And if you're going to vote, and why I think it is important, at least in this aspect, to register to vote, uh, we need blacks to serve on juries. That's how they look at, obviously, send out jury requests by looking at the voters poll. I think it's important that we do that. I think it's important that you engage in your local elections. You find out who the next district attorney is running in your parish because the DA is actually the ones who in a courtroom. They're actually the most powerful person outside of the judge because they have the power to say there's gonna be a bill or a prosecution on this case or not. Actually, I think that's where if I was Bill Cosby in Pennsylvania, I would have donated all my money to Bruce Castor before Kevin Steele came in, and Kevin Steele ran on that Willie Horton style uh, campaign to get Bill Cosby. There's no way I would have let him be in office. So we got to learn how to do business. And you also can't either. You see all of this stuff coming on when they look at, because I was listening to Tariq Nasheed yesterday and they cut his broadcast off. You can no longer ignore the impact that a Professor Blacktruth or Jason Black or a Tariq Nasheed has or Vicky Dillard or Nicole's View, whoever, because people are getting more young people are getting their news there than they are getting it from NBC. Those corporations, those news, they are corporations. That's the thing. They're not news anymore. It's corporate interests. It's all tied to a corporate. It's owned by a special corporation who, let's say, wants to push for a personal candidate. And it's always been that way in America. You've had like the Hearst Communications back in the late in the turn of the 20th century, how they were able to influence, I mean, even freaking jury trials. Look at the case of Fatty Arbuckle. That's one thing. You've always had a form of yellow journalism, but I remember it was respectable. Now it's a joke. Now it's a joke. And when people criticize Kamala Harris or Joe Biden, and you want to say, well, you either have this or Trump, you guys, okay, you guys push all of this BS. You are pushing younger people further and further away when you talk like that and do that because what you're essentially saying is that you're willing to give up your votes for free, for nothing. Yeah, we always need to ask and demand something for our vote. It's called doing business. And you act like you've never been around racist people before. Some of you work with people you don't like. A lot of us work with racists in uh, in our daily lives, in our business. Does that mean I like what the rhetoric that Donald Trump faces? No, of course not. But we've had racist presidents before. Y'all don't remember Reagan? Y'all, some of y'all were around when Nixon was president. Hell, some of you around when LBJ was president. LBJ was a racist. LBJ would be saying the N word on audio tapes. But hell, Lyndon Johnson did right by by pushing for the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act. Harry Truman, it's my understanding, I think he was a Klansman. But Harry Truman actually desegregated the armed forces. Hugo Black, who's a justice on the Supreme Court, wrote the opinion in Brown versus Board of Education, but Hugo Black was a member of the Ku Klux Klan. You had Robert Byrd, who was a member of the Ku Klux Klan in Congress. We've always had racist people in Congress. And when people look at Joe Biden and people look at Kamala Harris and they criticize them, and you get so defensive. Hey, then they can't handle the job then because people are going to criticize them, just like you criticize Trump and his record. Because why? He has no political record. He was not a politician. He was not a person that had any experience of leading things. His businesses that he had in trouble with. All of that became fair game. You can't ignore young people anymore. You can't push them aside anymore like this. Remember, the children are the future. The youth are the future. Send this brother some love. Think Tank says, speak your mind, brother. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you. You're tuning in right now. You're listening to New Black Media. You're listening to Gavin Reshaw presents here on channel G2786. And the main thing when I talked about, and people, I saw people with Facebook posts talking about, well, I can't believe people upset because Kamala Harris, they mad Kamala Harris was a district attorney. When y'all got district attorney signs on your lawn, I saw people posting that. I had people upset about my post. Like I said, do yourself a favor. Get your own fucking platform and talk about what you want if you don't like it. People criticize Kamala Harris because her record as an AG was abysmal. Joe Biden people mention that crime bill. Hell, people mention the fact that he hung around and praised many of these staunch segregationists like James Eastland, John Stennis, both from Mississippi, Strom Thurmond, I believe he eulogized him. So, and others. So I'm taking a look at that, and yeah, it's going to come out. It has come out. So why can't we talk about it? Shit, they mention it when niggas run for stuff. Guys, I'm sorry about that. I don't know what's going on. Had a little technical trouble there. But no, anyway, what I was trying to say was this that, you know, we got to learn how to do business. You can't ignore new black media. You can't ignore the youth. You cannot push and fear as tactics in which to vote anymore because young people aren't feeling that. Young people are not feeling that. And then when you put out, I saw that they had George Floyd's family speak at the DNC. They had last time back in 2016. I remember Trayvon Martin's mother spoke. So, and a lot of people took exception to that. There was a lot of, Professor Black Truth and others, because let's not forget, many of these things happen in cities and towns and during the presidency of a Democratic candidate. And what laws were put in place to protect black people from these race soldiers that are just killing young black men with impunity? You may say, well, it ain't going to be done under Trump. Well, how's Joe Biden going to change it? Has he talked about it? He's pushed for, my understanding, and I've read, he wants to fund the police even more. But you see, we don't ask those questions because we're desperate about getting the other guy out. That is not how you do business, people. I get you don't like the other man. I get it too. I wholeheartedly understand that. I understand that completely. But you gotta ask something for you. You got better. They better come with some tangibles. You gotta ask them for something. They gotta bring something to the table. And then what was so funny too, and a lot, on top of that, when they get those, and they take a tragedy, and obviously they use it to milk an election. But what was funny too, I don't know if I can play this audio, but someone showed me a video of Billy Porter dancing. They had Billy Porter out there singing, at the Democratic National Convention, and oh god, it was that a lot of people internally. I think I can play the video because he was singing a copyrighted song, and I don't want to get hit with a copyright complaint, but that shit was funny. Go find it if you can. Let me see if I can. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. All right, now I just gotta say this is just commentary. I don't own the rights to this, but it is under the copyright doctrine of fair use. It's being used solely for commentary and critique. So yeah, I found it. So here it is. Here, I'm gonna play a brief clip of it, but this is certain that they are desperate when you see shit like this. Hold on a second. I'm not gonna play all of it.
There's something happening here. What it is ain't
Somebody
exactly
put at the top.
clear.
Tragic, they lost their minds. I marvel. I seem to have escaped
With a God
with
over
mine. Cardi B
me,
with her
telling me I got to
Cardi B with her repulsive
believe.
WAP is children to interview the
Don't
DNC
stop.
candidate Friday.
Children, what's that
Uh,
sound? Everybody look what's going down.
okay. This looks like karaoke night on a Wednesday at the station bar.
Nobody's right.
Okay, I gotta stop it there, man. Oh, they are desperate. So that makes y'all want to go vote. So yeah, man. So we got to do business, but let me move on to some other stuff, man. If you guys have not heard about this, oh man, this thing on Netflix, there is a show. It's not a show; it's a movie, obviously made by a French film director who is a black woman. Let me see if I can get her name. Uh, I'm gonna try to pronounce it. The title of the movie is called Cuties. That's the English translation of it. The movie in and of itself is directed by a woman named, I'm trying to pronounce it if I get it wrong, Memona Ducore. I think I have that correct. It's a French language movie. And, this, a lot of people are, upset about this. Uh, there's a push on Netflix right now, on change.org right now for Netflix to pull. And you guys are going to see this. You probably have heard of it. It's called Cuties. That's the English title of it. But the French title of it is called, um, let's see, it's called Mick McNonis. And McNonis. It's a French language movie. And there are black Senegalese children uh, in this film. And you guys should just see the comments of it. And I'll play the trailer for you because I've heard different things about it, but this really shut a lot of people off, turned a lot of people off. A lot of people have called for it to be pulled from Netflix. You actually have some canceling their Netflix subscription as a result of it if they don't pull the film. This is from MovieWeb.com. Netflix apologizes for inappropriate these posted following huge online backlash. Now, it's being slammed for sexualizing children in the promotional material for Cuties. These are 11-year-old girls. Now, I'm going to play the trailer just so everyone could take a look at it uh, and see what's going, see this.
Mais qu'est-ce que c'est que ça? Il se passe quoi là? Vous faisiez quoi à la gare? On va danser concours. Je danse avec vous. Quoi? Oh mais les gens sont grave kiffés, tu vois tous les likes qu'on a eu.
Vous savez où passe l'esprit du mal? Ce sont ces femmes dénudées.
Pour le mariage de ton père. Regarde comme elle te va. Tu es une femme maintenant.
T'étais où là? T'as foutu quoi? J'étais en retard. En retard? Je suis désolée, Me dis pas. Non.
Notice a line in the movie that if you go back, hold on, let me stop it. Y'all notice that line in the movie right here. The mother said, I'm assuming that's the mother. I haven't seen the film and I have no interest in seeing it. She tells this girl, you're a woman now.
Femme maintenant.
And this is an 11-year-old.
T'étais où là? T'as foutu quoi? J'étais en retard. En retard? Je suis désolée. Me dis pas. Non, tu l'as volé? Oh la déglingue, j'y crois pas!
À quoi tu joues là, ami? Qui es-tu, ami? Laisse couler l'eau, ma chérie. Les péchés s'effacent avec.
Vous avez quel âge?
Non, 14.
All right. This, and if you go on YouTube, for this trailer, the likes to dislikes, okay, you see this 15,000 people like this film. and 444,000, including yours truly, disliked. This reminds me of a couple of years ago when Gillette had that uh, Me Too commercial where they tried to show men in a negative light, and of course, a lot of people didn't like it. Even some women didn't like it. Uh, and they ended up having like over 5 million dislikes on that channel to maybe 1.1 million likes on that. I think that video is still up, but men are the target audience of Gillette, or the target customer. Those are the ones who buy it because why? We're the only ones that's shaving our beard and trimming ourselves up, grooming ourselves. And that's the way Gillette um, markets itself. So when they put out propaganda pieces like that, you get public backlash. And this is certainly getting a lot of backlash, and understandably so. Okay, wait. So I got to share. You guys don't see the YouTube channel on Netflix. Let me put that up for you right quick. Okay, hold on. Sorry about that. Okay. Yeah, so look at that. 444,000. And I think what set people off even worse was the promotional poster. Now, Netflix apologized, they quote unquote apologized for this, but this is, and I even hate to share it, but I'm still on that website. Hold on. This is the poster for this was the poster that they Netflix has created a movie. This is from Joseph Disla, has created a movie promoting the sexuality of 11-year-old girls who are interested in trying a twerking dance class. Now, as a person, as an artist myself, I understand and people have a right to express themselves. People have a right to talk about what they want to discuss in their movies. They have a right to explore different topics. But this ain't it. And notice that they have the black girls in, I hate to say this, in a most sexually provocative position. Almost like that. Someone pointed this out to me. It's almost like she was looking like Lil Kim in her one of her famous posters that she had. The girl was posed like that. She's posed just like that. Now, some people commented and said, "I saw the French film poster for this film," and I'll be fair. I'll show the French film poster. Excuse me 1 second. Sorry. I saw French film poster, thought it looked empowering for young girls. I haven't seen it, so I don't know, but the Netflix photo definitely gives off a different vibe, and it's a shame if it misrepresents the true spirit of the film. So this is the actual original poster. What was also interesting is that when Netflix released the film, released the trailer, the the description of it called it that this girl was trying to join a twerk team. And it's also got what's very interesting to note, it has an R rating. So if this is marketed, from my understanding, it was rated either TV or they don't, if it's not called rated R, they call it TVMA when it's on televisions. But now that's not to say that there haven't been movies before depicting children in an R-rated film. Of course, I'm aware of that. But If it's a film just about girls exploring who they are, why was it rated R? What was extreme? What was graphic in it? Goes further on. This is Netflix statement. They quote unquote apologize. We're deeply sorry for the inappropriate artwork that we used in McNona's Cuties. That we used for McNona's Cuties. It was not okay, nor was it representative of this French film, which won an award at Sundance. We've now updated the pictures and description. The new poster for the movie seems to be a step in the right direction, but there are still thousands calling on the streaming service to pull the movie completely. For now, it looks like Netflix intends to release Cuties on September 9th, though that might change in the coming weeks. Cuties has been praised by critics for tackling the difficult subject of young womanhood. It currently has an 82% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes, though there are many people who have problems with the movie that extend well past Netflix promotional campaign. As for who made the controversial poster, the streaming service has not revealed if it was done by them or an agency. You can check out the trailer for Cuties above and see the apology below, thanks to the Netflix Twitter account. People have just been going ham on it. They're saying, pull that shit, pull this shit. It is not okay. Arlene Exotic said that. Uh, Alexis says, who is this movie for? People are saying it's rated mature, so it's definitely not for kids. Let's see. Others are saying it's literally a movie about 11-year-olds twerking. What pedo at Netflix made this? And let's see. Others saying artwork. I don't give a fuck what award your pedo movie got. You cannot comment on whether or not you support pedophilia. And somebody says, we understand that not all stories may appeal to our viewers, which is why. So someone asked them, did they support pedophilia? Which is why we always invest in a diverse range of content from all over the world. We also provide ratings, synopsis, trailers, and controls to help our members make the right viewing choices for themselves and their families. So the guy was asking straight up, did you support pedophilia? And they wouldn't answer. Uh, they even said, we cannot really comment on that, but we will believe in creative freedom. At Netflix, we respect all religions and their cultures, traditions, and values. That is some shit. Man, they are trying to normal. Of course, I'm an artist myself. I get all of that, but it seems like they're trying to normalize this stuff. It seems like they're really trying to normalize and push uh, this agenda onto everyone. Now, I knew I was not. I was surprised. I'm going to be honest. I was surprised when I saw that this was released. And I know when people sometimes a trailer doesn't always describe how a movie is going to be, but even the movie itself, just looking at it, especially when I saw the clip of the little girls talking to the older guys, I cringed. And those guys were teenagers, but still, they look like these look like little girls. These are little girls. They should be playing with Barbie dolls and stuff like that. You know, I got a goddaughter that's that age. I wouldn't want my niece on a poster like that. And who's the parents that signed off on it? That's what we should be looking at too. Damn, man. So people are canceling their Netflix subscription. What do you guys think? Or would you cancel your Netflix as a result of this? Let's see what comments we got in the channel. They're up. I'm sorry. Hold on. Yeah. So we were talking about the Cuties documentary that was up. Well, not documentary, but movie that aired and appeared at the Sundance. Is it the Sundance Film Festival? So that's why Netflix bought it and they're releasing it. And apparently, even when you look at the French poster, you got these little girls wearing bras and panties outside their clothes. I it looked like it was too much. I could see why people, I could see why people, had an issue, and why I have an issue with it because it definitely looks like they're sexualizing children. See if we got some comments. I know some of y'all at work. Y'all can comment what we got going on. Think Tank, you still in the building? Let's see what we got. Those that are watching right now live, I usually don't go live early in the morning, but I had to get a lot of that off my chest, man. But what do y'all guys think of this Cuties back? I want to know what your opinion about it. I showed you guys the likes to dislikes, the people that are commenting on it. It's probably the most unpopular movie, you know, to drop on Netflix. I've never heard of a movie that was so controversial before it came on Netflix at this time, but a lot of people don't understandably so, don't like this film and like what it's promoting. So you guys tell me what you think about it. Uh, Leave a description in it, what you think of this. But got three people watching. So, and we got nobody that wants to comment or talk. Obviously, people are scared, are busy right now. But man, I had to get all of this stuff off my chest because I was just so frustrated. Let me stop this, man. I was just so frustrated about what I was seeing and what I've been seeing from what I was seeing on my timeline over this and over comments that I post on Facebook and just in general, just the overall and scare tactics that are being done. When it comes to by scare you into voting how you want. You vote how you want. You do what you want. You're in charge of your life. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my ship. Unfortunately, when you're black, and yes, when you're a black man in America, we do deal with people who clearly who are in positions that can control our lives based on our color of our skin. We don't own and operate many of the major institutions in our lives, whether you're talking about churches or banks, schools, uh, jobs, things of that nature. Those institutions, talking about banking specifically, education, even in the medical field. I wish we could have. What about a black medical supply store? Those are things we need. We need, and we need most definitely even a black gun-owned store. We don't have anything like that in this area. We gotta be controlled. We gotta control the block. We gotta, and it can be done. Look what happened in the 1920s with Black Wall Street. Just realistically, what would you rather have right now? Would you rather have a? Would you rather have, you know, a Black Wall Street right now that you can go shop, that you would have an economy that you can build, or what's the other alternative? What would make a big difference? A Black Wall Street, or let's say having a bunch of black just let's say having, oh, I want this black judge on this court in this bench, or who becomes president, because you're affected more locally. Well, maybe that's a bad example. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I do that sometimes. But would you? What I should say is rephrase and say, would you not want a Black Wall Street that you can go to? Would you rather spend your monies in a place where you're respected or disrespected? That's what I should say. Excuse me. But all right, I've spent enough time on this, and you guys just think about what we've discussed. This has been another edition of Gavin Rushaw Presents here on channel GB2786 and also on Facebook Live as well. You guys be safe, be blessed, enjoy this weekend. Learn how to do business. Damn it, look at books about, look at and read up books like, for instance, on how the Jews built Hollywood. It was called We Built This Empire. Read books on how that group came over and built and created major studios like Paramount and Warner Brothers, 20th Century Fox, Universal Pictures. These were immigrants that did this. Now, of course, when it comes to black people, our story is a little bit different than everyone else because we are not immigrants. We didn't come and immigrate over to this country. We were dragged here. Our ancestors were forced to build this country and work long hours, sometimes getting nothing. Well, not sometimes, but not getting anything. Let's see. That order, excuse me, I actually have that book. That's one of the books that I'm about to read now. Another book you guys should check out is Negroes with Guns. That was written by the late Robert F. Williams. A lot of people forget about him. We don't talk so much about him. An Empire of Their Own was the name of the book by Neil Gabler, How the Jews Invented Hollywood. That's actually a great book to have. You can get that on digital uh, in Kindle format. That's something to read. I'm still in the middle of reading and I'm working on my own book too that I will share in detail before the end of the year when it's released. I'm still uh, putting my time and research into this. It's hard when you do nonfictional books, man, because there's a lot of detail and research that has to go into that. You got to make sure everything is correct. You got to make sure you're not putting in the wrong references and making sure things flow together. Uh, making sure your references are correct and so forth. So there's a lot that goes into that. If you are interested in writing a book, which anything from a like a novel or something like that. I don't get too much into that, but I like to read nonfictional stuff because that's very informative. But you guys leave a comment in the chat box. Uh, some of you might like the things that I said, others may not like it, but I don't care. It's okay. This is America. So anyway, guys, that's it for me. This has been another edition of Gavin Shaw Presents here on channel G2786. I'll holla. Peace.